Here we go again.
Oh yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Walthers mainline EMD SD60M, the 3-window cab version. I believe these were called the Triclops versions of the locomotive. So I picked this up at my local retailer for $75, which seems like a pretty good deal for a locomotive of this size. I'll throw up in the screen up here what the actual retail price of these is. But here's the side detail, EMD SD60M. Canadian Pacific is the one that was on sale at my local retailer. And so that's the one we're going to be unboxing today. DCC ready. Sorry, I keep flipping this box around. What am I doing? So let's get this thing open. Looks like we can open it up from this side here. All right. So here it is in the styrofoam packaging. Our Canadian Pacific EMD SD60, and let's take it out and see what we get. For $75, it's gonna be pretty hard to disappoint. Wow, look at that. So I'm gonna take this styrofoam out. Let me grab tweezers. Take this styrofoam out of here. The other side as well. Look at that. All right. So let's take a look at the instructions here and see if we can get kind of a parts breakdown. So there by the number 14, you can see the drivetrain, big flywheel by that motor. Looks like all wheels are powered on this thing. So it should be pretty good performance. So let's take a look at this thing. Detail wise, it looks pretty dang good for 75 bucks. And this is American dollars, by the way. One thing I am noticing straight away is the handrail's a little bent on this side, probably just because it's plastic. Might be able to bend it out and fix it a little bit, but that's the only thing I'm noticing right away. Let's take a look at the 3 windows up front. That's pretty cool. On the top, look at this. It's not a lot, but it definitely adds having that silver accent in the middle of those fan grills, and the silver on this fan grill for sure. And I mean, yeah, all the way, let's see, what do we have for cab detail if we have anything? Doesn't look like much for cab detail. Oh yeah, I can see some wires in there. So not much for cab detail, but it looks like we'll have some front lights, possibly some rear lights. So yeah, look at that. Confirming, yep, all-wheel drive. Heavy base, heavy center of gravity. Dang, this thing looks pretty good. Well, I guess the next step is to get it onto the track and see how it runs. Run it in, see the performance. So let's go. Alrighty guys, there he is down onto the track. Now this is definitely my largest and heaviest locomotive. The only locomotive I have that is physically bigger than this engine is the Penske GG1. I believe it's made by Meccano. But this engine is definitely the heaviest engine. One thing I wanted to point out that I missed in my initial inspection was in the fan grills in the back, there's actually a fan blade underneath those. So that gives it a definite depth and a little bit more reality, and that's really nice. All right, back to the point. Let's see if he runs. Whoa. It does run. Wow, look at that. So we do have directional lighting on this guy. Very, very cool. So if we take a look at the front here, when we run them in forwards, you can see that the front lights and name boards, they light up. Now they didn't light up very bright because I wasn't giving them a lot of power. And you see how they don't light up in the reverse direction. In the forwards direction, look at that. That's wonderful. And I'll show you them in reverse. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the red tail lights, but if you see here, those rear lights do light up when running long hood forward. So I'll show you again. Take a look at that. That's awesome. They're super bright right away, even at this low power setting. They're bright, they're visible, and that's an awesome feature to see. So I got a tight end shot here. Let's check out the crawl initially. Now I haven't run this in or anything like that. I'm gonna let it run for about 30 minutes in each direction just to get the brushes worn in and the mechanism worn in and everything like that. So we might see a little bit of improvement, but let's check it out just to start. So just easing up on the transformer. Whoop. A little movement, bit of cogging. So that's about as slow as it will consistently run. Give it a little bit more. Yeah, much smoother at that speed there. Let's try and reverse, see if there's any difference. Now keep in mind, I am just using a standard like starter set Bachmann controller. So this might not be giving us the best results out of the engine. But at least for me, that's pretty good. And for 75 bucks, I can't complain. I don't remember what the retail value of this thing is. So for that price, it might not be all that great, but for what I paid, $75, I think that's perfectly acceptable. So now that we've got a little bit closer look at it, and we've tested the slow speed, let's send him off around the layout and see how he gets on. So like I said, this is definitely my largest and heaviest locomotive, so I'd be very interested to see how he gets on with this layout and the parts that aren't laid extremely well on it. So we'll pull up the speed just a little bit. So he seems to be getting around these corners pretty well. That can be a trouble spot for some engines. Looks like he's got it just fine. So far so good. We're gonna send him on the outside loop line, and that's where the track is laid the worst. So we'll see how he gets on there. So here he goes onto the outside extension. No problems with the points there. So here's the trouble spot. Beautiful. No problems whatsoever. So I'm gonna continue to let him run in 30 minutes in each direction, and I will report back to you with any findings. I'll see you in a bit. Alrighty, and running in is complete. The only thing I noticed during the run-in procedure was it sounded like on some of the corners that the mechanism was grinding up against the plastic body of the locomotive, and I'll play a clip here. So like if we come around this corner here, you can kind of hear that grinding sound, but if you go forwards, it's gone. You don't hear it at all. So that's the only thing I noticed. I don't know how that will affect the drivetrain and mechanism long term, but I guess we'll just have to see on that. Anyway, let's see how the performance improved, if it did improve. We're gonna try crawling in forwards here. Oh wow, look at that. That's a much, at least to me, that seems a lot more stable at the low speed. So let's go backwards now and reverse here. Whoop. Kind of took off of there. Okay, a little bit better, I'd say. Not the best thing in the world, but for a diesel locomotive, I'd say, I mean, the forwards crawl is pretty dang, kind of cogged there, but the forwards crawl is pretty dang good. There, it got a little stuck, but for 75 bucks, I can't complain. So now let's see how many cars they can haul around the layout. And we'll keep picking up cars as we go. So I'm gonna start by grabbing this cut of cars right here. There's 5 of them, some of them loaded with actual ballast. So, and every one of my locomotives so far can haul this, so it shouldn't be a problem for the SD60. Well, if the coupling of a couple. They both do have knuckle couplers on them. Let's just see what's going on here. Okay, it just wasn't lined up completely. All right, so off we go. Looks like no problem there. All right, I'm gonna let it run to the Omaha docks and we're gonna pick up a bunch more cars there. All right, so here we are at the docks. Sorry for the shadow on the tripod. But here we go, let's try and pick up a bunch of cars. I'm gonna start by picking up these cars right here. Taking them out and grabbing some more. So I'll just throw the switch quick. And let's couple up to these cars. I think that car derailed, but some of these lighter cars just have a tendency to jump off the track. All right. And forwards, yeah, no problem whatsoever. I'm at probably a quarter power right now and it's hauling these fine. So we'll pick up these couple cars in here. And I'm actually gonna add a box car because I could not fit it on the sidings. So add this guy to the consist as well. Beautiful. And then we'll grab that last cut of cars back there. I did haul all of these with my Walthers train line GP9M, which I plugged it in the last video, but I'll plug it again. If you haven't seen that review, go check it out. That's another great Walthers locomotive, and I'm gonna throw a caboose on. And then we'll be set to go. If I can get him railed, there we go. Alrighty, and off we go. So I'm running at about 1/3 power right now, but just to give you kind of an idea of how long this train is, I'll let it run for a bit. And most of these cars have plastic wheels on them, so they're not very free rolling and efficient, but this engine's hauling it with ease. So there's the end over there. Pretty long consist. Well, that'll do it for me, guys. Only thing of note is that mechanism rubbing on the body frame sometimes. I don't know how that'll impact the locomotive long term, but I guess only time will tell. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And the channel has grown exponentially since the last video, so I want to thank you guys. We're up to 39 subscribers at the time of recording this, so really appreciate everybody who takes time out of their day to watch what I make. Anyway, thanks for watching again, and as always, have a great one.